Good morning, friends. The lesson that is displayed on your screen is Chapter 10, Dr. C.V. Raman, the celebrated genius. Today's lecture is, in fact, the sequel to what you have understood in the previous lecture. In previous lecture, we discussed the, the summary of the lesson. Today, we will try to understand two more issues and two more important aspects of the lesson, that is the theme of the lesson and the character sketch of Dr. C.V. Raman. Okay, now first theme. There are three clear-cut messages we can get from this biographical essay. First, we should never give in while we are struggling through life. Raman tells us that once he had no clothes and no books, he had to walk through streets without an umbrella, without conveyance. We should have our minds right and knows our job, and sooner perhaps than later, we will make our way in life. Here you can easily identify Dr. C.V. Raman is delivering his speech to the students of Agra University, where he advises them that struggle is the important aspect in one's life. While struggling, we should never give in. Raman gives them the example of himself, that once he had no clothes, he had no books at all. He walks through the streets without an umbrella, without any comfort. He lacks comfortness, he lacks easiness, he lacks, what is called happiness. Now, what is important? That one should make one's mind right, and a student has to perform his role. He must know his job. He should have a positive mind. He should have patience, and he should think on positive directions. Then what will happen? If a student will make his life at any cost, if this is going to happen. That is first, message to the students of Agra University. Okay, now the second thing that is again very interesting to understand is the happiness. He says happiness does not consist in going to movies and watching thrilling and tried technical dramas, but the great things in life are the God given ones which cost nothing. Now, friends, you know, Dr. C.V. Raman says happiness does not consist while you go to the movies, you are watching movies, you are watching thrilling films, etc. Or what he says, technical dramas. But what is important to understand is that happiness is in the great things in life that are God given, that are quite natural, which cost nothing. Which cost nothing does not mean they are, in other words, you can say they are priceless. For example, if you will take the glass of water, you won't have any substitute or parallel to the glass of water. You want to quench your thirst. Now, water is a God given gift, a God given thing, quite natural, and you quench your thirst when you take a glass of water. You make yourself, you are refreshing yourself by just taking a glass of water. You won't have any other substitute to, to this quite natural thing that is God given, and you feel very happy. That's why he says watching films, technical dramas does not make oneself happy. But what is happiness? Happiness is in those things which are God given, which seems very, colloquial, which seems very usual things in our life. And then he says we should love nature and appreciate nature. That's why we should love nature and appreciate nature and her wonderful gifts, her marvelous ingenuity, her resourcefulness, her infinite variety. Now, in the world, you can understand, God given things are infinite, they are beyond your imagination. We must always love nature, we must appreciate nature. That's what he says. And then the third theme, that is again very interesting to understand. He says we should love Mother Earth by tending to her. Unless we have that vision, the desire to love Mother Earth, we shall not make any progress. Now, according to Dr. C.V. Raman, it is obligatory, it is mandatory on our part that we should love Mother Earth. Not only love, we must tend, as we are tending or nourishing our children at home. We as educated must see something is created and see something grow on earth. Now, earth, you can easily understand, is very important. Whatever you grow, however you tend, it will repay you back. It will repay more than 10 times to you. If you are doing good with a human, it is possible that he will not repay you. But when you are tending the earth, Mother Earth, what he says, when you love Mother Earth, we are basically progressing. That's what he says. He says, that is his point of view with regard to the theme. That means he is discussing three things, three ideas, three messages. One is simply that one must not give up struggle in one's life, whether success comes on his way or it may come a little later in his way. Another thing, he is discussing the happiness. Happiness is simply when you are appreciating, when you are loving nature. Third theme of this lesson is when he says, one must love Mother Earth and one must tend Mother Earth. This is, the theme of the lesson. Okay. Now, dear students, let us try to understand the character sketch of Dr. C.V. Raman. Now, Dr. C.V. Raman, born in an Orthodox South Indian Brahmin family in 1888 at Thiruvannamalai near Tiruchirappalli in Tamil Nadu. Raman proved to be an intelligent student, a brilliant student. He passed his matriculation at the age of 11 and at 15 graduated from Presidency College, Madras. Here you can understand, in the very young age he has done his matriculation, and again at a very young age he did his, what is called graduation at 15. On completing his master's degree, Raman took up a job in Calcutta University. It was here that his genius flowered. It is basically, the Calcutta University where his genius flourished. The world recognized his genius and he was given the Nobel Prize in 1930. I have already discussed it in the previous lecture. Raman was proud to be an Indian. He did not give up his traditional turban, Indian turban, in favor of European hat. When he was given, Nobel Prize, at that time in the audience there was just one person who is having turban, Indian turban. Otherwise, all the people staying there have European hat. And he was proud to be Indian when he is wearing turban. Then Rutherford recognized him when he was sitting somewhere at the back in the audience. He recognized him and told him that, by his name, that come and sit in front of the audience. He was a great patriot. That's why, you can understand patriot to what extent. When he received the Nobel Prize, he saw the British Union Jack under which he had been sting, and it was this that triggered off his complete breakdown. Here he feels a lot of humiliation. Here he wished that he must there must be an Indian flag where where he will sit under it and receive Nobel Prize. This was a very sad moment, and tears started rolling down from his eyes when he recognized that he is staying under the Union Jack while receiving what is called Nobel Prize. Okay, Dr. Raman was a brilliant speaker, and his speeches were spiced with ready wit and humor. Now, very important thing. He was a brilliant speaker, but the idea is, he never believed in, manuscript eloquences or the speeches that are made beforehand. His speeches are spiced with ready wit, and humor. The presence of mind is always there, and in his speech, you have a lot of wit, you have a lot of understanding, you have wise saying, and at the same time, they are full of humor. In one of the speeches that he delivered at Agra University on 18 November 1950, he expressed his belief in the oneness of nature and science. Now, in this particular speech, he discussed oneness in nature and science. Science is basically something that is relevant to nature. It is the nature that produces science. And then he says, Dr. Raman suffered misery and poverty as a youth. And that is true. When he is discussing that, you know, when Dr. Raman was without clothes, without books, and he was mowing through the streets without an umbrella, without any comfort. He has had a very tough life, and he has suffered a lot of poverty, in his youth. Success in life, he believed, comes to those who are blessed with the right minds and understanding of their jobs. The most important lines, again, see these. Success in life, he believed, according to Dr. C.V. Raman, comes to those people, those students who are blessed with the right minds, who are having the right minds, who think right, and who are understanding their job, who are understanding their role. He asked young men and women to love nature with her ingenuity, gifts, resourcefulness, and variety. Several honors were conferred on Raman, including the Bharat Ratna in 1950. In 1924, he was made a Fellow of Royal Society. In 29, he was conferred the knighthood by the British government. He also won the International Lenin Prize in 1957. All these years are important. Besides, Nobel Prize in 1930, he was given in Bharat Ratna in 1954. In 24, he was made Fellow of Royal Society. In 29, he conferred knighthood by the British government. He also won International Lenin Prize in 1957. The life of Sir C.V. Raman had been one of unswerving devotion to the pursuits of knowledge and of unceasing service to the cause of science and the promotion of research in India. He worked hard in order to have, in order to seek knowledge. And it is basically his, incredible, what you say, efforts with regard to science, especially in the department of physics. He set up, because of that, he set up what? Raman Institute. He died on November 21, 1970. His mortal remains were consigned to flames in the camps of an institute itself, as per his wishes. It was his wishes that his mortal remains were consigned to flames, where in the camps of the institute. No plaque or monument mark the spot, just a solitary tree. Now you won't find there any plaque is there where the names of Dr. C.V. Raman is prescribed, or there's no monument marks there. But what is there? Just a solitary tree. Now he loves nature to that extent. He understands nature to that extent. He is a strong lover, a strong, what do you say, wisher of nature. And he loves nature to that extent that the, you know, he became the innovative person in the field of science because he understands science, there is oneness in science and nature. Okay, students, I'm leaving you here. We'll meet you in the next lecture, in the next lesson. God bless you.